There you are. Sorry.
That's okay. If you'll give me just one moment, I will be right back.
No problem.
But go ahead and I can hear you. Let's keep talking about how you met your husband. So you had met him originally at a costume party, then you were at a Doctor Who screening, and he just happened to pop up behind you and recognize your voice.
Yeah, I just turned around and he calls me a human IED. I launched off my bar stool and he got the world's biggest hug. And yeah, and then we exchanged numbers and we dated for 6 months and then he proposed and we got married. Funny thing is we actually got married at a Comic-Con with 200 of our closest strangers watching. What had happened was I really love, there's this place called the Gaylord Hotel. If you ever look it up, it is beautiful.
Yeah, just a moment here. I'm trying to get another pot of coffee brewing, but that's just great. So I take it, are you a comic book fan? I've dived into a little bit of Batman recently, and I've really enjoyed that.
He's an anime guy. I'm more of a sci-fi kind of girl. I like some manga, but the Comic-Con, quote unquote, that we went to was actually a pop culture one. Huh? KatsuCon? No, it was called AwesomeCon. Oh no, that's right, it was KatsuCon. Ah, my eyes are watering like crazy.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. Yeah,
well,
we got
good.
married at a con. It's called KatsuCon. And it was great. My best friend was our the person that actually was our officiant. He was dressed like Doctor Who. My husband's best man was dressed like Tony Stark. My maid of honor was dressed like one of the Doctor's companions. It was great. And I really wanted to get married at this hotel. Like, this is, if you look it up, it is beautiful. And they have this gazebo that overlooks this indoor garden area. Wow. It's $5,000 to rent it for 2 hours to get married.
Cool.
Yeah. Now, at KatsuCon, it was $25 to have 15 minutes to do a photo shoot. So we did a guerrilla wedding. We paid the $25 and we got married in the gazebo that I wanted. And like I said, we got married in front of 200 of our closest strangers. We had Pokemon at our wedding. Yeah, it was great. Awesome. We got remarried 2 years later by Elvis in Vegas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because that was always my
big Elvis fan.
Yeah, well, I always joked that was my dream wedding, that the next time I got married, that's where I was going to get married. So he made it happen. He made it happen.
How cool. Yeah, I got married. I had a marriage that lasted for about a year. I was just young. We were both young, and I was still kind of in my do whatever I want phase. So we had some compromises that I just couldn't meet, and my marriage dissolved quickly. But I had a very traditional marriage at a church. And my ex-wife was a pastor's daughter, and her father was a Lutheran pastor. And we just announced it, and all of a sudden there we were, like a week later. And thankfully, a lot of our friends and family got to attend. It was a blast.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we didn't have very many people. We had nobody at our Vegas wedding. It was just us. But our goal is to continue doing remarriages. That way we're always working towards wanting to marry each other.
That's good. Marriage is something that you really gotta, work on and nourish, and just redoing vows and remarriage and stuff. That's a great way to just keep the bigger picture in context.
Exactly. And we both had a couple marriages under our belt. So we knew, we were both a little gun shy about getting remarried.
Yeah.
But he's my best friend. And I'd like to say I'm his best friend. Right, honey? He can't hear me. He's at the other end of the apartment. But we still, to this day, like, he's my best friend. I can tell him anything. We have one rule in our marriage.
Yes.
And that's radical honesty.
That's a good building block for a good marriage.
Yeah. Even if it's gonna hurt, radical honesty, For a while there, I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic, but I would numb the pain with vodka, which was great, or wine. And there's been times where he's away and the pain is bad. And now we can get liquor delivery here, I've ordered wine and then called my best friend and been like, can you come pick up these bottles of wine? They're unopened. They're on my kitchen counter. I really don't want to go there. And he'll come. He came home and I was like, look, I got to be honest with you. This is what I did. And he wasn't happy about it, but he was grateful that I felt that I could come to him and tell him the truth.
Yeah, that's great. And that's also good. That self-aware, and you got a good friend like that who will help you with, battling that impulse.
Oh yeah. Plus, it helps that his wife loves wine. So my best friend, he's like, well, that's a bottle I don't have to buy. But yeah, so we have that's our rule, radical honesty, even if it's gonna hurt, even if it sucks, and I try to have that overflow into the rest of my life. Like with girls, I try to be as honest as possible. I don't sugarcoat anything,
Yeah, you shouldn't be sugarcoating in this industry. Give them the facts, tell them what you can do, give them the resources, just be point blank.
Exactly.
That sort of lifestyle, like we talked about being left with mental health issues. A lot of people just don't know who to trust, and you can't trust someone who's dishonest.
Exactly, and I don't ever want them to catch me in a lie. One of the things that we find is housing. It is very hard to find housing for these women. So we just bought into a program where we're going to end up doing our outreach through it, but we can get a hotel room for under $250 a week. So we can at least put them somewhere while we figure out what we're going to do with them. You know what I mean?
Good. It's good for them to have shelter. And, that you can't say nothing bad about that. But I do feel like, hotels can be triggering.
Hotels can be triggering, but at least it's a safe place. They're given complete autonomy. Do whatever you want to do. Here's some food. Here's some clean clothes. Take a bubble bath. Watch TV. We don't care what you do. We do try to keep a staff member with them just because they're at high risk. And we don't want them using the room to call Johns.
Of course, yeah. That would be one of my number one concerns.
Exactly. But there are so few housing, and domestic violence shelters are not equipped to deal with the special needs of trafficking victims.
No.
You know, I wish they were. I wish we could educate more and have them have programs. Now, there is a hospital in our area that just opened a trauma unit, meaning
Good.
not trauma as in physical, trauma as in psychological.
Wow.
Yeah, so they can help. They can even admit them to the hospital if that's what's need be to keep them safe.
Yeah.
And out of harm's way.
It's good. It's actually Mental Health Awareness Month. Am I wrong? I said, I believe it's actually Mental Health Awareness Month. Am I wrong?
Maybe. Maybe.
I think it is. But yeah, mental health. It's great that medical professionals are getting training. Now, one thing that I've considered with doing some of my research and advocacy, I believe that we need training in a lot more locations. For instance, I feel like Walmart employees should be trained to learn the signs and just try to, alert someone or just kind of interfere in a situation if they feel the need be. Because, I feel like anywhere where there's a high population of people, tourism, anywhere that people are coming and going and can just discreetly move around and market, you're going to find trafficking.
Not only that, hotel employees need to be trained on what to look for. Hospitals, most girls come into contact with emergency medical personnel on an average of 5 times. And the medical personnel don't know or know the signs to recognize.
Yes.
So they really need to be educated. NIH has a wonderful, wonderful study on the effects of prostitution and trafficking on the body from a medical standpoint.
Yeah, that's something, the body itself is something that I'm not so familiar with, but after educating myself a little bit over the past year, I've heard a lot. Foot injuries are very common, just from the wearing of the high heels.
Foot injuries, again, head trauma. A girl comes in bloodied and beaten up, like, you need to be asking these questions,
Yeah, sure.
They're so well trained in domestic violence. Why can't they be trained in that? So I'm actually working on a program right now. I'm in a program that teaches me how to teach medical and law enforcement from a trauma-informed approach.
Awesome.
So, yeah, so that's going to be our next step. After churches, we're going to there's so many places to go that it's mind-boggling.
I'm down.
Yeah, you don't know where to start. It's so...
Yeah, there's just so much you can do as far as awareness and, helping. My first effort within the industry, I didn't know where to begin. I just felt traumatized and, I had no clue where to start. So I just made me a little sign and I stood out on Highway 70 in Morganton and I got so many different comments and reactions. And a lot of people, I heard human trafficking don't happen over here. Well, we're always within the top 16 in the nation and just all kinds. It was such a day. I felt so alive.
Oh, yeah. When I tell people, they're like, oh, well, human trafficking doesn't happen around here. I'm like, let me give you something that you can understand in a context that you can understand. In Fairfax County alone, which is a big county, there's over 118 illicit massage parlors.
Wow.
They're licensed as massage parlors.
Yeah.
But they're actually brothels.
Yes.
You know, there's
Uh-huh.
only one place that I know of. I won't name them, but they're a national chain, and they're a real massage parlor.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they do.
Outside of the, yeah, outside of that, no, 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 no.
Yeah, the
Um,
one who attempted to traffic me, she was a masseuse. And she claimed to have a massage license. I don't know if she did or not, but I will say she was very good at massages. And she did have like a massage chair. But, I mean, why are you standing there and promoting your business in lingerie?
exactly. And like when you see these $35 massages, $50 massages, I'm sorry, a legitimate massage parlor, you're going to pay $75 to $100 for a real massage,
Right.
plus a tip. You
Yeah.
know? Um, these places, what they do is they charge very little to get in the door, and then in the room, the girl negotiates.
Yeah, escalate it.
Yeah, the price on, oh, you want me to do this? Okay, then this. But I can remember applying to some massage parlors, and they were like, how do you feel doing topless massage? And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this isn't a real massage parlor. I don't think I want to work here.
It's just a
Um,
question.
huh?
I said, it's just a question.
Yeah, exactly. It was like no license needed was what they advertised in the ad. And I was like, okay, no license needed. I guess you earn it while you're on the job. And yeah, no. No. Um so that's why we want to do the outreach for the Johns at those illicit massage parlors. And there's
Yeah.
so many ways to tell. Like, if the windows are all blacked out, there's a double entry door, there's cameras outside, there's cameras inside, you know darn well what that place is.
Right, right. Not too free. It's just, and that's the thing about human trafficking. I've often heard it referred to as, a hidden crime. And it's really not that hidden at all. When you know what to look for, it's just glaringly obvious.
Mm-hmm. I've taught people about the massage parlors, and they're like, thanks, now I can never drive around and not see a massage parlor for
Yeah,
$35 an hour, you know. um and they'll put themselves in like office complexes with other businesses so they
uh-huh.
seem legit.
Yeah,
That's why the only massages I go for are the ones in the chairs in the middle of the mall.
those are good.
you know where they charge you $10 for 10 minutes. Yeah, I'll go to them. But other than that, another big thing of trafficking that it's not sex trafficking is Asian nail salons.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those.
Oh, yeah. Those girls have to pay for their share, and they only get paid if they have customers, but they're required to be there from open to close.
Right.
They're not paid an hourly wage. They're not nothing.
Yeah.
And I believe the one girl that I spoke to, half of her money, like the cost of the services, half of
Yes.
the money went to the salon, half of the money went to her. Plus, she had to pay her chair rental.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should never have to get a job that you have to pay for. A job is supposed to pay you.
exactly. Now, I've talked to girls that work at places like, or have worked at places like the Bunny Ranch in Vegas and some of the other brothels out there. Those
Mhm.
girls pay upwards of $180 a day to have a room.
Yeah.
Then they're charged for every condom, they're charged for every towel, they're charged for every single thing they use,
Yeah.
they're charged for.
Let's go ahead and
So,
make it legal and then just, take all their money anyway.
yeah.
Great idea.
And then these girls, a lot of them end up leaving in debt.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
they
Leave in
came
debt, get harassed by a trafficker over that debt. Vicious cycle.
oh yeah, oh yeah, and they line them up like they're cattle in front of the Johns, and they're like, choose your girl.
Yeah, I've seen a documentary about that on HBO when I was a youth.
I
Tragic.
normally do not celebrate someone's death, but when the owner of the bunny ranch died, I was so happy. I was so happy. And I really hope his death is the end of that brothel.
Uh-huh.
You
So
know?
it's not operational now?
Huh?
So it's not
It's still operational now, but from what I understand, it's not being as profitable now that he's not there.
Oh, well, cool.
Yeah. He actually had a reality show for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, about Bunny Ranch. Huh?
No, I was saying about that, and yeah.
Yeah. I guarantee you he made all the money off of that show. I guarantee you any of the girls that appeared didn't make anything.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know? But anyway, we digressed. So what other questions do you have for me?
Let's see. We have one a
Anything?
little long here. We were scheduled for an hour, and now we're at an hour and 30 minutes, but I'm still enjoying it. Let's see here. What's the most important advice that you would give to someone in the lifestyle who wants to get out of it, but just doesn't know what to do?
Number one, call the police department and find out what their sex crimes unit is. If you can't find an organization near you, reach out to sex crimes. Report it to them, because this is all basically compensated rape. You know? And normally a sex crimes unit will have access to things that girls can use to exit the life. You know, it's very similar. They treat them like rape victims, and they get the same victim services that a rape victim would get, because that's essentially what they are. The second thing I would say is, if you're afraid to do that, go to your local hospital, go to the emergency room. Tell them, I've been being trafficked, I need help. Can I speak to the hospital social worker? Every hospital has a social worker. And that social worker's sole job is to help the patient find the resources that they need to be able to be discharged safely. So, sometimes that means being admitted to the hospital for a few days. But guess what? You're safe in a hospital. There's security. You know, people have to sign in to get up to the floor. Your pimp isn't going to be able to just find you.
It can be messy sometimes, but taking that first step to recovery is so much better than being stuck in a dead-end lifestyle.
Oh, yeah. And you don't have to be stuck. There's so many people that will help you. Like I said, either call your local police department and ask to speak to, you know, I hate to use the term special victims, but special victims, sexual assault, or go to an emergency room.
And so get iced tea on it. You ever see
Exactly. He'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Or go to an emergency room, tell them the truth. Granted, they're going to want to run a bunch of tests on you, including STD testing, all of that. They may end up putting you, when they admit you, you may end up in the psychiatric unit. But you know what? When you're that traumatized, that might be what you need. You know?
Sure.
At least they're trauma aware. And, you know, as long as they treat you like a rape victim, because that's what you are. Every single time a man mounts you, and you don't want him to, whether he's paid you to do it or not, that payment is coercion.
Yes. Yes.
And people are like, well, she got paid. No, that money is coercion. Anytime you have to pay someone to do something that they wouldn't otherwise want to do, like if I met so-and-so at a bar, I wouldn't want to sleep with him. I would find him repulsive. But same guy, prostitute, pays you money, you're going to sleep with them. You're going to feel horrible afterwards. You're going to feel dirty. You're going to feel gross. And you're going to feel like nobody else wants you. Why would they help someone that's that quote unquote gross? Or there's a lot of victim blaming, I find. Yeah. There's a lot of victim blaming. And again, like I said, there's just not enough organizations out there. There's not enough housing out there. And there's just not enough programs to help women heal. There really isn't. Like, we need very specific counseling. We don't need, you're bad. We need, it's your fault. You did this. No, this happened to me. I just so happen to be there. They don't care who it is. They just, here's one way that I put it to people here in DC. It is illegal, if you're broke, to sell one of your organs. Say you wanted to sell your kidney to somebody that was dying. You can't do that. You can't get paid to donate an organ. So why is it okay to pay girls to rent an organ? Because that's all you are to them. They're just masturbating using your body.
Right, yeah.
So it should be illegal. Plain and simple. Definitely. I mean, the laws are already in place saying it's illegal to sell organs, but it's not illegal to rent a vagina.
Yeah.
A body part that's not meant to be used 2 to 5 times a day, sometimes more. It should totally be illegal. That's just, the girl should be legalized because, again, it's her organ they're renting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's her organ that they're damaging. And most girls have bladder problems after, bowel issues after. I know girls that have had to have total resections of both because the damage was so bad.
Right.
So.
So these men, they just don't care. They just want to ravage somebody and pay them and take their quick exit.
Exactly. And as a society, we talk about, like, in locker rooms. Well, that's something you don't do with your wife. That's something you do with a prostitute. How is she any different than your wife? She's a person,
Right.
So, yeah. So we have been talking for an hour and a half, haven't we?
Yeah, wow. If you don't mind, I was going to ask you just one more question, and we can conclude. Okay. So to kind of just change the subject just a little bit, I just wanted to know, I've been as active as I can be since my reemergence in the scene in early 2020, and I've met so many amazing people and just kind of seeing what they're doing in the movement to end human trafficking, like yourself. And I just wanted to know if there are any particular individuals or organizations other than yourself that you would like to highlight that have touched you or you believe are doing meaningful work.
I really love an organization called Northern HTI, or Nova HTI. It's the Northern Human Trafficking Initiative. I've done a lot of work with them. Another one that's doing great work, I love the name, it's called Hookers for Jesus.
I've heard of them. People were very unhappy about a funding issue that they had.
Yeah, they were having a hard time, but Trump, when he was donating his salary,
If I believe correctly, he made donations to them. He gave considerable donations to the movement.
$250,000 he
Yeah,
gave
he
them.
really impressed me with that.
Yeah. Now the house that they're in was donated, but all the upkeep and security and staff and all of that, they need funding for. But they run Destiny House, which is an absolutely great recovery program. The only downfall is they don't have enough room for as many girls as.
I'm just going to make a note of that here. That sounds like something I should check out. Destiny House. And what was the first one for Hookers for Jesus?
Nova HTI.
Nova
Northern Virginia Human Trafficking Initiative.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And they all do great work. Now, Nova HTI is working on building a village of tiny houses to give to women in the time period where they're in that flux period between getting out and being able to be productive members of society. It gives them that time. So they're in the process of doing that right now. They have the property. Now they're just working on the funding for the houses. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go.
Okay. Shannon, I just want to thank you so much. It meant a lot to me for you to jump up here today. And I believe we had a great conversation that's going to educate and inspire people. And you're just a fantastic woman. Thank you so much for the work that you do. And thank you for allowing me to do this interview and collaborate with you. It means so much to me.
No problem. Thank you. Send me the edited copy when you're done.
I will. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.